Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things I love about living in China.
China.
And 5 things I hate. And you see guys, I've been here for long enough where I have such a wide variety of experiences from all around the country to draw my conclusions off of, and to base these things that I'm going to be sharing in this video with you guys. Because keep in mind, I've been here in China for over a decade. I've traveled to over 100 cities in this country. And through all of these experiences, I am able to formulate this list of 5 things I love and 5 things I hate. If I had just been here for a month or two, this wouldn't even be possible. This is from over a decade's worth of experience. And the way I'm going to lay this video out, rather than hitting you guys with 5 things I love about China followed by 5 things I hate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate. I'm going to share one thing I love followed by one thing I hate. I think that will keep the flow of the video a little bit more balanced. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. On the love list, number 1, I'm going to start with travel. Travel is what brought me to China all those years ago. I first arrived in China in 2007. I stayed for a few years and then I left China and I moved to Japan where I stayed for a few years, and now I'm back to China. But travel is what brought me here. And you see, the thing is, China is such a huge country that there is just so much to see. You wouldn't be able to see it all even if you wanted to. I mean, you've got the forests and evergreen forests of the northeast, some mountains up there, kind of the rust belt of China. Then you've got the grasslands that kind of run through north central China, like the Inner Mongolia region. Then you head out west, you've got some desert type areas. You've got some really beautiful mountains in China. You've got Huangshan, or Yellow Mountain. You've got Yulongxueshan, which is Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, located down in the southwest of China. Kind of down there, sort of tail end of the Himalayas. And then you head down to the far south of China. You've got some subtropical climate type of areas. You head down just off the southern coast. You've got the island province of Hainan, where you've got some nice tropical scenery. You'll see banana trees, coconut trees. It's just awesome. There's so much to see. Travel in China is absolutely wonderful. And to make things even better, they've got airports in every little city all across the country, as well as an extensive high-speed railway network which connects the whole country and just opens up so many new travel opportunities. Because it's not only the big cities that have these high-speed railway stations, they've got these in a lot of the really small cities as well. So yeah, travel in China is just absolutely awesome. Hey guys, 你们想学中文吗? Do you know what I just said there? I just asked you if you want to study Chinese in Chinese. I personally think you should, and here's why. There are Chinese people all over the world, so your chances to use it are limitless. It could also open up new opportunities for you in life. I have partnered with the amazing team at Excel Mandarin, and I encourage you to go check them out. If you want to learn Chinese, you need to start practicing now. People say it's the hardest language, but do not let that intimidate you. Learning Chinese is super fun, and once you start learning, it just becomes a fun hobby. I learned Chinese on the streets of China, fumbling my way around, and never started with a good, solid foundation. So I had to go back and try to correct all of my old bad habits later on. With Excel Mandarin, they'll take you from zero to conversational in just 10 months or less, and you'll learn from native speakers, so you will learn everything correctly the first time. They have a variety of courses, small class sizes, 24/7 support, friendly, enthusiastic teachers, and a comprehensive website and curriculum that will have everything you need to become a Chinese speaker. They even let you try one class for free, so come on, break out of your comfort zone and give it a shot. You'll thank me later. Please go check them out today. You can contact them by phone or email, links below. And oh yeah, I almost forgot the most important part. Be sure and tell them Mr. Chopsticks sent you. Now let's swing toward the negative side of things and go to the hate list. Number 1 on the list of things that I hate in China would have to be selfish behavior. And this is not amongst all, but this is something that I do come across quite a bit. And anybody that has spent any length of time here in China would be able to back me up on this. When I say selfish behavior, I'm just referring to things like cutting in line, or when you're out in a public space or on a bus, somebody will answer their cell phone and speak so loudly and not care who's around. A lot of times there seems to be this me first mentality, or it's all about me mentality and to hell with everybody else. And of course, that is very frustrating, especially the cutting in line part. I cannot get over that. I cannot get used to it, and I cannot accept it. Okay, number 2 on the list of things I love about living in China, and that is just convenience of life. Convenience of daily living. You see, where I'm from in the US, if you need something, you usually have to go outside, hop in your car, drive 20 minutes down the road until you get to a shop. And that's okay. You know, the experience of getting out there and driving around, turning on some music, singing very poorly along with the radio, which hopefully you're alone so that way your friends and family don't have to suffer through the torture of your loud singing while you're driving. But hey, maybe they like it too. Maybe you could get a little group singing action going on. But things are a lot more spread out in the US. Whereas here in China, because it's just so densely populated, and if you're going to live in a city, what you'll find is that if you just walk outside, pretty much anything you need will be within walking distance. And if it's not, they've got great public transportation, they've got a great bus system. All the big cities are going to have subway lines, or metro, as some of you call it. It's like for me, where I live right now, if I walk outside, if I walk across the street, there is a huge shopping mall. It's got restaurants, clothes, it's got a movie theater, all different types of shops, electronic shops, cell phone shops, a little imported food shop. I mean, it's just got everything that you need. And then just next to my community is my barber shop. It's literally a 2-minute walk from my house. And it's just pretty much like this, like whatever you need is usually going to be really close. And if you need something very specific that maybe is not right next to your community, well, there's going to be several different public transportation options. And if you do need to take a taxi, well, it's not going to cost you that much. Taxi fares here are quite low, especially compared to Western countries, and the drivers do not expect to be tipped. Also, in terms of convenience, like I was talking about earlier, the high-speed railway network, that's convenience of travel, delivery services for pretty much everything, whether it's just, you want to get lunch delivered to your home, or maybe you need to do some shopping, maybe you need to buy groceries, maybe you just need to buy some random stuff to do some housework. You can order any of these things online and have them delivered to your house within minutes. Super, super convenient. Okay, number 2 on the list of things I hate, and that is being mocked. I've been here in China over a decade. I used to spend hours every day studying Chinese. And these days, I don't really sit down and study that much, but my practice nowadays is mostly just being out and talking to people. And I just learn things that way, just learning through doing. But there is this habit amongst a lot of Chinese people, and this is all around the whole country, is that when you speak Chinese to the locals, it seems like at least a few times a day you'll encounter somebody that won't speak to you normally. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you my Chinese is far from perfect, but I also know that my Chinese is very intelligible, it's very easy to understand, and I do try my best to get the pronunciation right. But regardless, even if I spoke perfectly, just because of the fact that I'm a foreigner, sometimes I'll speak Chinese to somebody and they'll respond to me in a very mocking, like intentionally wrong tone. What it usually is that if you know anything about Chinese, it's a tonal language. Well, the 4th tone is a falling tone, and what they'll usually do is speak to you in a really goofy way and say every Chinese word in a 4th tone or a falling tone. For example, if you say, 你好吗, that means like, how are you? But the way they might say it to you, because you're a foreigner, they might say, 你好吗. That's the typical joke. It's so old, it's so played out. It's been going on for over a decade, and it still goes on today. I encounter it almost on a daily basis, and it really pisses me off. It's so freaking rude. It's so freaking immature. I was hoping that silly joke would just kind of fizzle out, but no, it has stuck around, and actually these days it's probably even getting worse. Come on, Chinese people, you gotta let that go. And let's be honest, if somebody did that to them when they were overseas, there would be people that would be flipping out. There would be people crying racism. It would be this big deal. But here it just kind of keeps going on. The people think it's funny. They get a pass. And new travelers to China most of the time don't even know that they're being mocked. But for me, I've been here long enough. I speak Chinese at a fairly proficient level, and people still do that to me. I really wish they would stop, but I don't think they're going to. Number 3 on the list of things that I love is food. Everybody loves Chinese food, right? I mean, I wouldn't say Chinese food is my favorite food, but I would say it's one of my favorite foods. The world is full of delicious foods from all cuisines, all countries, and China has a whole lot of different foods They've got a lot of different cuisines just right here within the same country. It's not like there's just one Chinese cuisine. There are actually 8 main ones. So there's so many different interesting foods to try, and there's a little something for everybody here in China in terms of food. And just in general, with a lot of Chinese foods, there are some common themes and common methods in the way that they prepare at least a lot of the dishes. And I like the basic style of Chinese food. So there's a ton of food here that I love. So this one had to be added on the list. And I will tell you that if you're overseas, I'm from the US, the Chinese food that you are eating there is most likely not very authentic. And to be honest, it's probably crap. If you came to China and tried the real authentic Chinese food, you would see it's so much better than it is overseas. It's also a lot different, but it's the same thing in any country. For example, here in China, if you eat Western food, quote unquote Western food, 9 times out of 10, it's really, really bad. And I'm not a very picky eater, but a lot of times I'll take one bite and I'll just have to throw it away because that's how bad it can be. That said, there are some actual decent places to get some international foods in China too. Kind of depends on what city you're in. Of course, if you're in a bigger city, you're going to have more options. If you are in a small Chinese city, I would warn you against trying anything that is labeled Western food. Be forewarned. Back to the hate list, number 3. This one's going to sound kind of weird, guys, but bear with me, okay? People eating sunflower seeds on trains. When I first came to China, or my first few years in China, this was a non-issue. I didn't really care. But somewhere along the line, it really started to bother me because you've got to understand this. Chinese people love to eat sunflower seeds. I like sunflower seeds too. Before coming to China, I didn't really have the habit of eating sunflower seeds. These days, I'm eating them more and more. So why does it bother me when people eat them on trains? Well, here's why, is because when you start eating sunflower seeds, 2 problems. First, it's very noisy, the constant cracking of the seed. Once you start to focus on that sound and once it starts to bother you, you can't ignore it anymore. So it's noisy, it's disruptive. And the other problem is that because sunflower seeds are so small, you're not going to get full from them. You're going to sit there and crunch on them for probably 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, just think, if they eat 100 sunflower seeds in an average sitting, that's a whole lot of crunching. And if you're sitting there on the train trying to take a nap or read a book or just relax, and you have to listen to that sound, it absolutely drives me nuts. And also, just along with this one, while we're talking about annoying noise and noise pollution, early morning fireworks is also a thing in China. Very, very annoying. Not a good feeling to be awoken at 5 a.m. due to people lighting firecrackers outside your window. I honestly think that the train systems in China should put a ban on eating sunflower seeds on trains. I mean, yeah, in the dining carriage, that would be okay. But they tell you to be mindful of your noise, don't eat any smelly foods or anything like that. So I think it would also make sense to tell people, don't eat anything that's going to disturb others. And sunflower seeds are so damn noisy and annoying. And it's also messy. When they get finished, you'll see sunflower seed shells all over the floor and all over their little tray table. It's just not good. They really need to ban it. Number 4 on the list of things I love about living here in China, friendly people and safety just in general. They don't really have bad neighborhoods like we have in the West. Regardless of where you go in China, everywhere is going to be a safe neighborhood. And the people here are not looking for trouble. They might like to joke around or even mock you a little bit. But usually you're just going to get friendly smiles and a friendly hello. It's not like back home where if I look at somebody wrong, sometimes they're ready to fight. Over here, people are generally friendly and they're not looking for trouble. And this doesn't just go for China. This goes for all of Asia as a whole. Whether you're in Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, the people are just friendly, laid back, and they're not looking for trouble. And that's one thing I just love about Asia in general. Number 4 on the list of things I hate is the fact that hotels here reject foreigners. Now, news came out recently because China was getting a lot of negative press because a light was being shown on the fact that hotels here are allowed to reject foreigners, simply based on the fact that they're not Chinese. And it's very, very common. Like in some cities, over 90% of hotels would refuse foreigners. It's a big deal. And it's very, very frustrating to walk into a hotel only to be told that you're not allowed to stay there because you're a foreigner. Very, very frustrating. And also very offensive. Well, as a response to this, Beijing put out a statement that was expected to go all across China, and this statement was especially intended for all foreign travelers to see, and they were stating clearly that hotels in China can no longer reject you for being a foreigner. Now that's awesome, that's great news, right? But the unfortunate reality is that when you travel around China now, still, it's almost the same as it was before, especially in smaller cities. If you're just traveling around China, there are still so many hotels that will tell you that they can't accept you. Well, even if they're not supposed to do that, what are you going to do? I mean, there is a government hotline that you can call to file a complaint, and I've actually had to do this once. I've got a video about my experience. Well, I had to end up calling the police, and if you can't speak Chinese, well, just forget about it because this is all done in Chinese. I had to call the local police, and they came over and helped me get into that hotel, but the entire ordeal took over an hour. It was very stressful, and I had to rely on my Chinese speaking ability as well as my willingness to kind of stand up for myself because, you know, it's not a good feeling to have to do this. But I'm the kind of person where if I feel something's wrong or if I'm being treated unfairly, I'm going to stand up for myself. It's just the way it is. The police got it worked out. They were very professional and friendly. They helped me get in. But if you're just a newly arrived traveler, all I can say is good luck on that. There are lots of hotels in China that will still reject you. And back up to the love list, number 5 on things I love about living in China is the traditional culture and society. I like the language. I like to study Chinese. I like the way the characters look. I like the traditional outfits. I like the traditional music, the artwork, the style of traditional architecture, just all of this stuff. I really like it. And also society as a whole is pretty traditional. And when I say that, I just mean like traditional values, study hard, love and respect your family, work hard, just all of these kind of traditional values. There's no kind of wokeness or any of that crazy stuff going on here. So for me, that's a good thing. And then the last one on the list, number 5 on the list of things I hate about living in China is the fact that the internet is blocked. I have to spend quite a bit of money every year on a VPN. Sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, most of the time, to be fair, it's reliable and works fairly well, but it does cause inconveniences. And there are times where, like I said, it just won't work. It slows things down. It creates lots of situations where it's inconvenient. Also, it blocks off Chinese people from a lot of the information from the wider world, so it kind of keeps them in their own little information bubble, which makes it hard to relate to them sometimes because they're only allowed to see a certain amount of reality, or you could say it like this, they're only allowed to see what their leaders want them to see, and as a result, they might be limited in things that they know. It obviously is going to greatly affect their overall perspective and paradigm, and sometimes when I'm talking to people here, even though we can understand each other in terms of language, it feels like we're living in different universes because they've got certain ideas about what it's like overseas that are just so inaccurate. Or I might ask them about a particular topic and they just will have no idea about it because it's probably censored from the Chinese internet. So this is unfortunate and, to be honest, can lead to a lot of frustrating conversations and misunderstandings. But you just have to be patient and understanding. But you also have to be flexible and thick-skinned as well because a lot of people over here have been taught to believe that foreigners in general are just crazy. They don't have very strong values. I've even heard people say that foreign parents don't love their children as much as Chinese parents. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. And of course, if you hear something like that, that's extremely offensive. So like I said, you've just got to not let it affect you too much. Take some of these crazy statements and opinions and preconceived notions. Take it with a grain of salt. So that's my list, guys. It's gone on pretty long. I hope you found it interesting. If you've spent some time in China, I would like to hear some of the things that might have made your list about things you love about living in China, things you hate about living in China. Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate the support, and I look forward to catching you all in the next video. 下次再见. I want to give an extra special thanks to all of my YouTube members and Patreon supporters for their help in keeping this channel financially sustainable. Thanks to all of my grasshoppers and tigers, and an extra special thanks to my Pichio gang. And lastly, a huge shout out to my top tier supporters, Lee, Martin S, and David is Dawei. I see you guys, and I just want to let you know I appreciate it so much. Oh, and just so you know, you guys rock.
What do you look for beyond the sea, grasshopper?